Record button.
Morning, today's June 17th, 2025, and present with us right now is a county treasurer. So, Terry, I'm trying to say, Terry, would you please start us off, what's going on in your, oh, let me back up. We got, minutes here, so, two sets. I have May 20th, October 15th, 2024.
Ooh, that's an old one.
Yeah, and then I have May 20th of 25. So have a motion to approve.
I'll motion the 24 ones and
There's should be two.
Yeah, yeah.
two from 24. Is there?
Oh, they're doing here? I'm sorry.
So maybe you
So
could
you
send
said-
those to me so I can look at
Excuse
them.
me, and November 19th of 2024. So
In October, November.
October, November 2024.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve those, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
You'll have to second it.
I'll have to second that, so let's go ahead and vote on that one. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. And then as for the other, May 20th of this year, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Moving along, I'm sorry, very cool.
I'm not quite sure what's happening here, but okay.
Neither.
I'm gonna start out on the minutes and that.
I'm getting caught
and
up.
that-
So we're doing minutes, but,
Yeah, throwing minutes because we're meeting with you at the same time.
okay,
That's why.
so maybe I should see those minutes too.
You're good.
Look at the recording.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
All right,
Brian.
so I got a couple things I wanted to share with you. So these papers that are here. And if you want me to update these at any time, but I thought maybe you would find this of interest. I don't know if that or not. So I wanted to show you on this first page here, so you'll see in 2024, the first column says amount billed. So on the bottom, we billed $24,567,000 total,
Okay.
and that's real, personal, mobile homes and other, okay? So, and then in the second column is the amount that we've collected to date, which is 23,451,963.73. And then underneath the last column, it says uncollected. So we're owing, we have owing to us for the 2024 tax year, $1.1 million. And you'll see, if you go across by year, you can see how much from each year is still outstanding. And most of it is on real, and most of those is
Tunnels,
tunnels.
right.
Mhm.
But what's really cool for you to see is that the collected, if you look at our collections, we're actually doing pretty well. We're less than 3%. And I like to think that I'm kind of proud of that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But this is only
yeah.
as of the end of May, so we still have a few things there. Mobile homes are never collected at 100% in my experience. Ever here at the county, we just have a small group that just,
What about June of 24? That says 100%.
well, yeah, well, that's for this, for that year. Which is good. That was just one bill that was billed in June of 24 and
Right.
paid at 0, yes. But you can see overall, I think we're doing a pretty good job. Like I said,
Mhm.
mobile homes we tend to be more in the 20% mark, 20% don't. And I have a list of charge off there, but
Is
I
that
thought
pretty
maybe
much-
these are good numbers
Is
for
that
you,
pretty normal most of the time?
unfortunately.
Okay.
When the house is worth less than what you're paying taxes,
Yeah,
they
that-
quit paying the taxes, go ahead and take my house.
So here's a part of with the mobile home deal. So a couple years ago, a legislator said if the mobile home is worth less than $10,000, then they do not charge any general tax. So most of what you're seeing is probably solid waste or TV districts or whatever on those particular mobile homes. And that's kind of why solid waste has some issues. They don't get that money and they're still using the facilities. But then this last legislative session has now changed the whole deal, so I'm not quite sure what 26 mobile homes will look like, but for the moment, that other issue is less than 10, there's no general tax. There might be, unfortunately, some of those older ones might pop back into the system with this change.
Is this what you're talking? That's the change for legislature?
Yeah,
for
but it
September?
won't hit, you
Yeah.
won't see it until next
What,
year.
next year
Well, that on
or
mobiles,
October?
because
or-
mobile homes have already been billed for 25.
Oh, okay.
So that we're in that process for 25. So they're not gonna get, you're not gonna see anything. But we held off billing because the
Right.
Department of Revenue was concerned that some of that legislative stuff would affect those. And some of it did, but not significant for us to worry about, but 26 might show something different. But I thought that this might be a good update for your numbers. And the second page is the tax receipt summary that runs from July to the current day, June of 25. Again, it shows the tax year. You'll see mobiles on the bottom for 25 that we've already got some collected and we still have outstanding some. So, but that's normal because we're still collecting on 25. But I mean, we've collected all of our others, all of our personal property, or all of our essentially assessed for the 24 tax years. But it just, so I thought maybe you'd find that kind of interesting, that I think we're okay. And just unfortunately, the Montana tunnels, you know, that whole deal, I mean, it was worse, so this is actually not as bad as it was before we got that $5 million, so,
Remember during COVID, we were worried about people paying their taxes at all.
yeah, so,
Remember that?
yeah, so it's kind of interesting. Okay, so then, this is our,
Or a big report, huh?
yeah, so, and that one's for your stuff, and then this is Ginger. So if you look at this, you see we did balance to the penny. We have a couple of outstanding items. We have this 26,000 item that was not transferred for Cardwell's ACHs until June because she notified of those a little bit later. So that's no big deal. That just means the money comes out in June and not in May. We still have a $402 e-check outstanding for Boulder Elementary School, which she's been researching because she doesn't know why they haven't cashed that yet. And then you'll see there's a school posting in November of 24 for $1,534.63 as a negative item here. We fixed it in June now. That's because she collected some money, or she paid some money out. We didn't do a check. Then she got the money back and put it in her funds. And when I was auditing her funds, which I do a lot of these days, I said, that money belongs to the county. I'm taking it back. So it got fixed yesterday. So it's out of there. So basically we have our outstanding checks and our deposits that are outstanding from the end of the month. The second page, you'll see some notes about what we have outstanding between what our bank Quicken shows compared to our settlement sheet with Black Mountain Software. So I've noted all those on here so that you know. But everything else looks good, but you'll see those notes there. That works. Cash report, treasurer's checks. The last thing I wanted to point out is we have our first protested tax in years. And it's at the back. I've already reported this to Ginger and to the Department of Revenue, and it's with Ash Grove Cement. I don't know why he's protesting the 24 taxes, but he is protesting $144,000 of their payment. He says they're over assessed. So this is something that, just so you know, Dan, and I would tell Craig this, but he's not here. So whenever you have an entity such as Ash Grove or Golden Sunlight file a protest, that has to be dealt with on industrial Department of Revenue. So they have to look at it, make negotiations and do whatever it is they're doing. So we won't know the answer to this for a little bit.
So from that point, when they, when it transpires to that, up to that point, then what happens? Then
Well, they
come
only
back
have
or-
90 days to get this settled with us, but the schools right now have not been paid. The schools or the county have not been paid their share of any of this money.
Oh, okay.
So what happens is they pay the taxes in full, And then I note in the system, or I have to do some calculations, but you don't have to know all that. Anyway, I tell the system, we're gonna protest this amount, and it actually like suspends the money, pulls it out of our collections, and it holds into a separate fund, which you'll see is on this as 79 or 7130. Yeah, 7130. So the clerk and recorder has been notified because she'll see that in her funds, which is a county fund, but it's sitting there pending. It does earn interest, but it's pending.
Mhm.
And technically, once we get the letter from industrial DOR that says, okay, we've settled it this, sometimes they just deny it. Most of the time they say, well, we're gonna reduce it by this amount, so then I have to go back in, recalculate those funds. Whoever deserves to have payments will get that percentage and the rest will go back to Ashgrove. So it's kind
So
of
one
a,
way or another, it will be paid, but we, not unknown amount at this point though, right?
right, we don't know what this is gonna settle at.
Okay.
I mean, they've paid it, we have the money, but we just
Oh, I
can't
see. Oh,
disperse
okay.
it by law
I see what
to
you're
the
saying.
schools, the fire
Oh.
departments, or yourself, to the county self,
Okay.
until it gets settled. So it is a 90-day process. If they just don't bother and DOR doesn't bother and nobody fights it, and doesn't get up into the court, then I just release it.
When did they file?
It was May something,
Oh, in May.
May 25,
Oh.
so May 15th or something like that.
Okay.
I was interested in that because we just did that exemption for them and I didn't quite, I don't know what it doesn't matter.
No, I understand. I
He
don't-
gets to legally do what he wants, but it's just kind of,
That's kind of odd, huh?
I thought it was an odd timing because I've never seen Ash Grove.
Did you look at their last year's, tax bill?
I did. I have a copy of them.
Do you know what it would compare to this?
It's not off by much,
No,
no, but they've never
never
We've never
protested before.
complained before. That's what I thought was kind of odd.
Wonder if they think that, DOR didn't get their abatement in there or something.
Yeah, I don't,
Hmm.
well, the abatement doesn't hit till 25,
Oh, is that what?
because you just approved it,
Right.
if I remember correctly,
that's
so
right,
it's
yeah.
25.
Yeah, you're right.
And I have a copy of that on my desk waiting so that I can make those adjustments in the fall. When
Okay.
I see their assessments, I haven't seen their assessments. So I'm assuming that they're doing this because they would like DOR to make sure all their equipment and stuff is being assessed right before we do that abatement.
Maybe.
And fair enough.
Yeah.
Yes. So I did an audit on our suspense fund and I made a list of what those things are. I do have $73 that had metal mines, metal flourishes, whatever that word is. That has to be dispersed. $73.15. And I didn't have time to do a resolution. This just came in. Didn't have time to do a resolution. So I will work on that and get it to Helen to present. Probably mid-July, right? Because
Everybody's gonna be happy about their part of that
$2.50.
$73.
Yeah. So, yeah,
We're all getting money back?
well, it's metal flourishes mines. Have you seen that yet? Cause it's a great experience in math. And it's not bad if it wasn't $73 is hard to divide by evenly, because it's 33% divided by 33% divided by 33%. And then 33% divided by 3 schools. I mean,
It's a mess.
it's a little more than.
Yeah.
If it was $7,300, it's a lot easier, right now. But it is what it is. It's $73 and it's okay. It's all right.
I gotta be getting home. Oh, yeah.
So our credit card did you find it?
I will.
Okay. The only other thing that I want to mention as far as this thing is concerned is that we had a lot of software issues in May with the Black Mountain software and our online web payment system. That's why balancing was kind of a chore. And Maggie's wanted to balance this month, but I wouldn't let her because it was, we always balance together, but the software company, somebody go online and make a tax payment, and sometimes it would post and sometimes it wouldn't.
Mhm.
And so what that does then is it throws the out of balance because I have money and I
Don't know where it
Right,
goes.
so anyway, so we fixed all that, except for, we have a couple items that we have to mail the checks on. This poor gentleman, and I need to call him and talk to him about it, but his mortgage company actually made his payment. So if he went online to make a payment, they should have told him that it was paid. Well, it didn't, so he made a credit card payment, but I have nowhere to apply it to because it's paid. So we owe him that money. I have another one where the guy paid and it charged him $30 more. So I don't know if the guy put the wrong date in or whatever and charged him 5 days ahead. So we
Huh.
owe him like $30, but that's, you won't see here because I didn't suspend it. It's just in our credit cards. It didn't come in until June 3rd, so I'm gonna fix him for 4. And then IntelliPay overpaid me $161.30, which I'm just gonna throw in treasurer's fees because I've
You're
argued.
not gonna fight that one.
I've argued with them about it, that you've overpaid me and they don't want it, so you know what?
Keep it.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm,
Donut fund.
I can do it only so long, and then I'm saying, okay, I'll just keep your money. This last thing I did not make copies of, I'm gonna hand it to Helen, is I have 6,800 in checks from, June of 22 to December of 23 that need to be charged off because they've never cleared. 3 of them are large checks, and we've researched, we've called this company,
Can't find it, huh?
they're gone.
What's the name of it?
FNI Group Real Estate,
Oh, F&I, oh.
and they're in Dillon.
They used to have an office in Boulder here.
Yeah, well, I don't know who their man, I have their tax IDs, I actually wrote them on here.
Did you ask the bank down here, ask Rhonda?
I will ask Rhonda. But we probably just need to do a resolution, because the checks aren't any good.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
happy to
old.
reissue them. And anytime if somebody comes back, I mean, the law says they have 7 years. If they come back after we've charged it off, and I can follow the paper trail, which we should, because we should have it,
Obviously, they're not missing it.
then I'll just issue a new check.
How much money is left?
Well, F&I has got, $5,000 here.
You'd think they'd be missing that.
Yeah. Checks were never cashed by us when we returned it. They already paid it. And then they sent us more money. We returned the money, the additional funds. So, we'll let you do whatever resolution needs to go with that. Okay,
You're gonna tell Craig about the, Ash Grove deal since it was his?
Oh. so I don't know that you can tell me if I'm telling you something that you already understand.
Okay.
But Ash Grove has filed a protest of their taxes, and it's somewhere in here in this pile. So they protested 144,269.42. So when you pay your taxes, you can protest whatever percentage you think is not right.
Yep.
You can never protest a fee or a city fee if you live in a city, or like mosquitoes or whatever. You can never do those. But you can protest the amount of tax. And so they're protesting that amount of tax. In the protest, they say that they're overassessed on some equipment. But I know you just did that abatement thing, so I'm not quite sure if after analyzing all their stuff, if that's why they're protesting. But what happens,
They got 100% on all of that equipment, and we even added the one in that Steve didn't agree with.
yeah, that's on the rebate, but this is on their previous, this 24 tax year. So what happens is when I get a protest, I have to actually calculate how much of the percentage, and I hold those funds. Meaning that the schools, the counties, fire
Yep.
departments, whatever, do
We
not get a
get that.
dime
Yep.
out of that $144,000. I notify the clerk and recorder, so she's been notified, and I send it to DOR so that they know. And DOR then has to work on negotiating or reviewing all their equipment that's being protested and come to a solution. So at some point in the next 90 days, DOR will come back to me and say, we're denying the whole protest, or we agree to 80% of it, or whatever those numbers are. And then only at that time, after I recalculate what that fund looks like, it's the next page in, I think.
Yeah.
Only at that time do I release those funds. Otherwise, protested taxes are held in the 7130 account until it's settled. If at 90 days, I don't hear anything and there's nothing filed in the district court against the state of Montana, and there's no other litigation going on with the Department of Revenue, then I just cancel the whole protest. They have 90 days.
So they have
So
90 days to figure it out.
the industrial with DOR, because it wouldn't be the regular, it wouldn't be our regular real estate DOR, it's gonna be industrial, that commercial stuff. So,
So do they have all of this filled out in their? Do they have to fill something out for their protest, just so I can look at it? or-
absolutely, I can send it over to you. I
Okay,
keep a
I'll-
file of all that stuff.
I can shuffle over whatever.
But I also sent Ginger where we did the entries, because part of the clerk and recorder's job, this is what Kim did, and I don't know how much Ginger knows that, but Kim would track it as well to make sure that it got settled or not settled, whatever. But it's still up to me to make sure that I check in 90 days that we either have an answer or don't have an answer. And if we don't have an answer and there's nothing filed in the court system, I just cancel it and then release those funds, everything. Otherwise, it's held in the 7130, which is one of the county's, one of Ginger's accounts. It's called protest.
Because they have to
We haven't
pay
had
it,
a
but then
protest
they
in years.
protest
Yeah.
them, and we don't get to spend them until they come up with.
Correct.
the
We don't get a
protest.
dime of that money
That's what I thought.
until the fire departments, the schools, anything that's associated with it.
Sure.
Doesn't get it. So solid waste and all those people have already been paid, because you can
It's
never
not
protest a
protest.
fee. You can only protest the tax. But,
Okay, yeah,
So
I'd just
that-
like to look
so-
at it and,
yeah, absolutely.
it
I'll
is.
just email it to you. It's fine. And you'll see on the top of our protest forms, it tells the customer, the taxpayer, what he has to do in order to proceed with this. And sometimes it ends up in, what's that word I'm looking for? Oh, the tax appeal board. Sometimes it ends up there, but most of the time industrial solves it before it gets to that point. But if they don't like it, they could definitely take it to the county appeal board, but I've never seen an industrial one, at least in 11 years, end up in the tax appeal. That's usually regular, normal Joes like us.
And the commission usually doesn't get involved with that, that's just
Yeah.
between them and revenue. you know.
But I wanted you to be, you should
Yeah,
be aware
yeah,
that that
absolutely.
protest is
Yep.
sitting there.
Usually we have like a phone company or a utility.
It's usually a
sitting there,
utility.
you know.
It's usually, I mean, in the years past, it's been Verizon, Blackfoot,
Northwest Energy.
Northwest Energy. I mean, I haven't seen a protest in a couple of years, I think.
Knock on wood.
Do you think that Northwestern Energy will protest this time with the tax rate?
Well, we'll have to see in the 25. I haven't seen a protest yet and they paid. I was just showing the commission this, which you're welcome to have this too, because I did make a copy here. So this is the amount of tax that we billed in 24, so this is 24. And this is the amount that we still are owed for 24, but these numbers are mostly tunnels. So that's what most of that is, but Northwest Energy is in this group for Golden Sunlight, and we've collected all but 0.5%. So there's nothing on 24s, but we did just bill for 25. So we haven't seen, that's not due till the end of June, or that's personal. Never mind. We did collect for 25 already, so we're good. And this is our tax receipts from July of 24 to today or yesterday. So this is just all the tax receipts that we've collected. I just wanted to show where we're at. If we think about these numbers, we're actually less than 3% in collections, and I really think that's a good number. We could be a lot worse.
Everybody's scared of you, Terry.
Our biggest deal is mobile homes, unfortunately. Not a criticism against those that own a mobile home. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is.
So it's set up.
It's the system. So next time we talk, I'll be bringing you a list of mobile home bills that we need to charge off. Because the law says after 5 years, you can charge those numbers off. So I have stuff back to 2017.
Craig might want to repossess them.
Well,
yeah,
you know, when Craig,
nope, I stayed away from that. We looked at it and we just went, nope, I don't care if they don't. pay their
So-
taxes. I don't know what to do with this.
here's the bad part, and this is hard. So I talked to Sheriff Doolittle at that time, and I talked to Goodwin at that time too. the law says that when I send over writs of execution, that they have to be served. Okay, they have to be served. The problem lies, and so you're gonna serve those. And let's just say Officer Goodwin, he goes out and he says, okay, Craig's got 3 cars and we could take 2 cars as long as he has one. This is the law, right? Take 2 cars. If he has a boat in his yard, I can take it, you know? But all that involves, we can do that. And we can take them all home. But like I said to Sheriff Doolittle at the time, what do we do with the mobile homes?
Where are we gonna put it?
Do I put them on the courthouse lawn and auction them off? They'll probably mostly fall apart by the time they got here, because they're, so it's kind of like a rock and a hard place. I don't know what to
There's no-
do.
It's
There's
tough.
no solution really to that problem.
There's not.
And Missoula at one point did list them all in a newspaper and did a courthouse auction. Didn't bring them in, they were where they were, and they said to if you bought one, you gotta go figure out how to get it,
Hmm.
that's your deal. And, you have to, so we slapped writs of execution on those mobiles, they're gonna be sold, da, 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 da. And it worked, they cleared out like 150 of them for that first year or two. And then they found that there was like some old liens hanging out there that nobody ever knew about, and it just got into a legal wrangle, so they said that doesn't work either.
So does this mean that 22,000 of mobile homes hasn't been paid?
Right. Pretty many, unfortunately. So we only collect like 75% mobile homes. It's kind of bad. So unless it's somebody who just bought a big mobile home, spent a lot of money, we might want to go get that one. Oh, never mind. You wouldn't want to do that.
Corey's got some property out at the mine.
I know,
Yeah.
underneath that mobile home.
You want a trailer court?
Yeah.
So speaking of that, the trailer park over here has been sold. The deal closed on Monday.
Which one?
Mr.
Dave.
Casola.
Oh, did he sell it?
Hmm.
Nice.
And so they're all on my desk, all those mobile homes that have to be transferred. There's a whole stack, and all their taxes. So all those will be cleaned off. There's nothing delinquent over there anyway. David always took care of it. He did. The new park owner, is very, from what I understand, is very intuitive. He owns 3 or 4 other parks in the state. And he likes them to be taken care of. He likes them to be clean.
Nice.
From what I understand, he's gonna bring in some, when he can get rid of some of the other stuff, he's gonna bring in some newer models.
So
So
I've
I think it'll be good for everybody. I think it'll be good for the tenants too. David did arrange some deals with the gentleman for the tenants that he's got arrangements with. So I mean, I think everybody's been taken care of, and I think it's a good deal all around, so.
Good for Dave.
Anyway, so I do have a small stack on my desk to transfer, but
He took a big mess and made a nice.
he did, he
He
cleaned
took
it up
care
and so I think it's a good deal. I think it's a good deal for everybody, and I think it would be nice is that you'll have an owner that has owned other mobile home parks and will
Mhm.
continue to improve it. So I hope, that's my hope anyway. And David said he selected this guy because of all those things. So
Sure.
I think it feels good to be relieved, I'm
Yep.
sure. So, there's that. Tomorrow I have a meeting at the state of Montana with the Bureau Chief, Laura Bakri, about the MOU. So the treasurer at Gallatin, the treasurer at Park, myself, will be in attendance. I'm not gonna put up a whole lot I'm just gonna listen and I'm gonna make notes. I've collected notes from large counties and small counties about the MOU and how the commission feels, their commissioners feel, so I have all those put together and, I don't know what's gonna happen. I know that if we're not gonna lose anything if we don't sign it, but that's a question that several counties have asked, what are you gonna do to us if we don't? And
Give it your best shot. That's all
yeah,
you can do.
we'll see what happens up
You
there.
get 11 cents instead of 10 cents.
I know for sure that that 10 cents is not gonna change until next session. We're stuck with that. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that's gonna change. I know the AG called me on the way home and wanted me to have a town hall meeting, and I said, oh, they don't want me on that town hall meeting.
I got that.
I hung up.
Too.
So, did you go hang up?
I was at the meeting.
So again, July 1st, Whitehall schools will be on their own, but we will have to make sure all of our balancing is in place before we can release all their money, and then we'll release all their money. I have liquid money up in STIP that I'll pay them out with. We'll lose, we won't lose, but about $3 million probably out of STIP. 3.2, I think. Hang on.
We needed to get Kelly in on Zoom yesterday at 10 o'clock, and we got up there and got everything on, and people started showing up. We're like, what's going on? And we asked somebody, what are you on Zoom for? What's going on? And she said, oh, it's a treasurer's meeting or whatever. I'm like, oh.
I scheduled it, guys. You
I
told me
know,
I was to schedule
I
it.
saw it on the thing, and I thought, oh, maybe Kelly put it on there because we needed it then, and so we just dove off, but it was pretty funny.
I
Thought
didn't even see that.
we thought it was
There's a lot of people interested in budget hearing.
Yeah, exactly, that particular one.
Oh, I should have known. Maybe I should have listened. No, we were discussing this Lori Walker thing, because it's, I don't think it's gonna be. I mean, Park and Gallatin County are driving over here in the morning, and so that means something. Their commissioners do not like it,
Yeah.
so, they want answers, so it's the
Good.
only way we're gonna get it.
That's it.
So.
It did come up at the Mako district meeting, but it came from a commissioner sitting in the back, just threw it out there that this MOU was.
Well, Cascade County Attorney does not like it at all. She ripped it to shreds. I have a copy of it, but I don't wanna release it to anybody until I get her permission to do so, but she ripped it to shreds.
Hmm.
I mean, she also did like editorials, like spelling errors and punctuation errors too.
Hmm.
I think she was kind of like, she picked everything. I was like, wow. Wow.
Hmm.
And, I mean, the treasurer gave it to me as a note, but I have a call into her to get her permission to tell Lori, this is what another attorney thinks, and this is, Steve hasn't weighed in because he just doesn't, it's just not his thing, but that's okay. So anyway, did you have any questions on this? Okay. I think we're good. We're doing good. We still have some money. Just so you know, John Paul is over at Jefferson High School right now, auditing. So we'll see what happens when that comes back. I did tell him a few things, so hopefully he'll get some of that. I'm not a tattletale. I just said, well, here's some stuff. And he said, okay.
Are we done, Mr. Chairman?
Any other questions, gentlemen?
I don't have anything.
Okay, Terry. Thank you, Terry. We'll be adjourned.
Okay. So I gave her a list of checks